Hi everybody, it's me, Jessica, your health fitness program manager from McLean, and I'm looking forward to guiding you through today's core and stretch class. Let's see what it looks like if I turn some more lights on. It is really warm here in our nation's capital today, so I've been hanging out with all the lights off, and for you, I turned the air conditioning off during class. I know, I'm such a considerate lady. All right, we've got 2 minutes till we officially get started. You don't need any equipment today. The only thing you really need, I'd say, is a glass of water. So make sure you have some water nearby. We're gonna start standing. We're gonna start standing in just 2 minutes. So if you wanna put some music on for yourself, I don't play music so that you can hear me as best as possible. I know I sound like the allergies are coming and like flames coming out of my mouth. Our challenged allergy throat situations. Excuse me. Got a little of my pre-workout energy drink here. It's called coffee. Tastes great with the toothpaste I also enjoy as a pre-workout move. Just a couple more seconds till we get started. Just want to make sure anyone who's tuning in on time doesn't miss a single thing. And I'll just remind you while we're waiting that today's workout is going to be a lower body focused warm up. But you know me, I can't stick to just the lower body. Also, you end up using your core and your upper body even while you're using your lower body. So we got a bit of a total body warm up that's going to come your way. We're going to do a core focused circuit after we warm up, and then we're going to move straight into cooling down. I do believe it's that time. It is. So let's go ahead and get started. You don't need any equipment today. Lower body warm up begins with the march. And depending on how much you're working to increase your heart rate, you can stay right here and keep it really low, or you can add a couple of forward and backward marches. I encourage you to make use of the space that you have. So I like to go diagonally, and as you're marching, go ahead, bring that whole heel down towards the floor, because a lot of times when I'm marching, I know that I tend to get a little bit more of a calf focused movement, which is an option if you're looking for it, by not bringing those heels down towards the floor. Let's keep up with these marches for just about 30 more seconds. And if you want to increase the intensity a little bit in these last 30 seconds, you can turn it into a jog. Just doing the best to make use of the space you have. Also, getting the opportunity, if you're moving back and forth, to enjoy a little backwards running or jogging, which I love. I think it's a great way to relieve tension through the glutes. All right, we made it. We made it. So next up, we're gonna come into my favorite move, which is just a lateral step tap with a couple shoulder rolls. Starting to really bring upper body to the party. If you're feeling like you're not getting a big range of motion here with both shoulders moving at the same time, go ahead and give me some individual sexy shoulder rolls. That way, hey, you're looking and feeling awesome. And I think you feel this one a little bit more throughout the back. We're gonna change our shoulder rolls to the front. And you can try out doing both at the same time. One more 8 count. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Next up are some hamstring curls. We're gonna add in a little bit of a row. So keeping your chest lifted, belly button pulling back towards the spine, heels kicking towards those glutes. I like to really think about having my knee pointing down towards the floor. Also, you can even see my legs kind of go out a little bit because that's what's more comfortable for me instead of keeping my knees right underneath my hips. Marching a little bit wider, feet wider than shoulder width distance apart, and trying the best to bring the heel to the glute, but knees pointing down towards the floor. So I start to feel a nice stretch in the quads as well. Let's get 4 more each side. 4, 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Take a moment, just shake it out. Next up, we're gonna add in some knee drives. So here we go, just driving that knee up, using your exhale to get that knee to lift. And you have some options for your knee drives. You can keep it narrow. For 4, 3, 2. Now we're gonna take it nice and wide. A little bit more engagement through that hip, a little bit more inner thigh. We're gonna hear back to the narrow. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Once more wide. 8, 7, and you can use your arms as well. That's just gonna help you to get that heart rate to come up. Nice work. Come on back to that march. We're gonna keep moving because we're trying to get that heart rate up. Remember, open your feet nice and wide. Take a moment through this nice wide march. I'm a fan. I think it feels good and relaxing. 4 more counts. 3. You can never trust an exercise professional. Go ahead, plant those feet. We got some air squats. So I'm starting with some nice wide air squats. I find that this goddess style squat with a nice wide open knee is the easiest version for me. Let's get 2 more. Now we're gonna change up that squat. So if you were narrow, go for wide. And if you were wide, go for narrow. Just getting a nice little air squat in. Weight in your heels, chest is lifted. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. I hope that each time you came up, you were pressing through those heels. We're gonna come on towards the back of the mat now. Made it through that warm up nice and quickly. It was just about 5 minutes. We got 2 more moves, but we're gonna take a quick little break. The last 2 moves are this inchworm and then world's greatest stretch. And don't worry, we're gonna get to it, but we're gonna add in some core work right here. I'm actually gonna turn my mat a little bit so that I have some more space. But I'll move this way first, just so you can totally see me. All right, so we're gonna get an inchworm, keeping your core pulled in tight so your lower back feels good. Hinge forward at your hips. Walk yourself forward, plant your hands palms, and shift the weight forward. Walk your hands back, plant your feet, and you can either just stay hinged or challenge yourself to stand all the way up, getting a little bit more work through the hamstrings. Great, so that's the basic move. We're gonna add that ab work in right here. A little bit of ab work, a little bit of back work, a little bit of chest work too. So this time from the back, let's just do 1 of each move together. We're gonna hinge forward and then walk yourself forward into your inchworm. Stay there, shifting those shoulders forward. We've got a push up to do. I'm gonna bring my knees to the floor for the push up. Get 1 push up and then lower all the way down towards the floor. Straighten through those legs, squeeze your glutes, squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your chest for 1 Superman. Great. Then press yourself back up into your plank, send your hips up, walk yourself back into your inchworm. We're gonna do a little pyramid set of those moves. You can start from 1 and work to 5. I like to start at the top, work my way down. So 5 rounds. First round, I'm gonna do 5 of each move. Second round, 4, 3, 2, and then 1. And then we're gonna get to do some more stretching. All right, so think about your form. Keep that belly pulled in, especially as you hinge forward. And if you want a little extra challenge when you get to the very back, you can add in, oh my gosh, I forgot what they're called. Woo! So, you know, when you pick your feet up and your arms at the same time, it'll come to me later. I'm in my apartment, so I can't make that happen, but I can still get some sort of a half jack. All right, so hinging forward into your inchworm, walk yourself forward, take that plank, and then 5 push-ups. 5, 4, make sure that that whole body is coming down together. 2, not leading with that lower belly, and then body comes down towards the floor, straighten through the legs, squeeze the glutes. 5 Supermans. 4, 3, 2, 1. Press yourself back up, inchworm yourself back. Go at the pace that works for you. Woo! Now I'm gonna do 4. Walk yourself forward, shift the weight forward, knees down if you need to. Getting those 4 push-ups. 3, 2, I'm gonna come onto my toes between each one to just challenge myself a little bit more. And then 4 Supermans. 3, 2, 1. If you're moving faster or slower than me, that is totally okay as well. Once you finish out all 5 rounds, just go ahead, press yourself back into a child's pose. This is my 3rd round, getting in those 3 push-ups, and then releasing down towards the floor, straightening through the legs, 3 Supermans. And maybe you're moving slower because you're being mindful for your body. Maybe you're really thinking about that form, which is great. Moving slower is a great way to just activate those muscles a little bit more. This went by so quickly, didn't it? Press yourself all the way up. I got 1 more round through. Just getting 1 of each. Awesome. I'm finishing, so instead of walking myself back up and dangling, I'm just gonna press my glutes back towards heels. You can extend your arms as far forward as feels good for you. Come back to your breath. And we'll just wait here for about a minute for anyone who might have been moving just a little bit slower. Keep breathing, focus on your exhale, making your exhale longer than your inhale. It's gonna help to bring your heart rate down. All right, we're amazing, and I think that we are worth 1 more plank move or series before we get into the last of our stretches. Let's come on into tabletop for a moment. Give yourself a couple cat-cows right here in tabletop. Let's focus on separating through the back ribs and shoulders. Awesome. If you want to and you have time, I really encourage you to maybe hit pause and run through that same series 1 more time. And if you don't have time, that's totally okay. Just a deep thought, something that you can come back to another day, right? Okay, so from right here in tabletop, go ahead, send those legs back, come into your plank 1 more time. Squeeze shoulder blades together, eye gaze forward, chest is proud here, belly button towards spine. Send your hips up towards the ceiling for a nice down dog stretch. Biceps coming closer towards your ears. Can you relax your heels down towards the floor? Keep your left leg down on the floor Inhale that right leg up towards the ceiling. We're gonna shift the weight forward in our shoulders, bring right knee towards right elbow, send your right leg back up towards the ceiling. Shift the weight forward, send your right knee towards left elbow, back up towards the ceiling. Shift the weight forward, right knee towards your nose, leg back up towards ceiling. Each one more time. Shift weight forward, right knee towards elbow. Three-legged dog. Shift weight forward, right knee towards left elbow. Lift it up one more time, bring it forward towards your nose. Send your right leg up, release your right leg down towards the floor. Pedal through your heels, taking a little active recovery right here. Come back to those nice, solid, relaxed breaths. Keep your right foot down on the floor. Inhale, left leg up towards the ceiling. Keeping those hips square to the mat, chest square to the mat. Shift the weight forward, left knee to left elbow. Send it up towards the ceiling. Left knee to right elbow. Send it up. Left knee forward. Back to your three-legged dog. One more time of each. Left knee, left elbow. Shift it up. Left knee, right elbow. Shift it up. Left knee forward. Shift it up. Both feet down on the floor. One more time. Pedal through your heels. Ooh, and let's come into that world's greatest stretch. So right leg lift up. Shift the weight forward. Right knee forward. Plant the right foot down on the floor. You can bring your back knee down towards the floor and even untuck your toe. Or you can challenge your balance and stay lifted right here in a nice low lunge. Inhale, right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, right hand down towards the floor. Send your left leg back, pass through that plank. Left foot forward, right hand up towards the ceiling. Let's go ahead, get two more on each side. And if you need to, bring your knees down towards the floor and even keep your knees down on the floor. And just rotate through with a little bit more support of knees down on the floor instead of in that plank. That's okay. And if you have to shimmy, shimmy, shimmy that foot forward from a plank, boop, 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 all the way forward. Remember, you can also bring your knee down right here in that little lunge. So many options. Wasn't that great? I got to demo one of each. Come on back into your tabletop. Send your hips back towards your heels one more time. One more pass through child's pose. If you're looking for an extra stretch in your shoulders, if you're starting to notice them, they're a little bit more warmed up, they want it, you can always tense your fingers. Great. Let's see what's next. All right, so right here from tabletop, we're gonna go for a nice, easy, close hip opener. You might wanna have a block. Coming back through on your knees, I'm just gonna bring one foot forward. I'm still in a very tight 90 degree angle right here. And while I'm here, this back leg down on the floor, squeeze the glutes, push the knee down and towards the mat, maybe even a little bit of pressure from the back toes down onto the floor. Starting to feel a nice stretch into the back leg, hip, a little bit in the quad as well. So good. We're gonna increase the stretch now by bringing that right foot forward about a foot and shifting the weight forward. You might wanna block right here to reach down towards the floor. Maybe you wanna lean into the stretch. If you do, can you take the rounding out of your back and bring your chest and belly forward, shoulders relaxed away from the ears. I'm still taking a gentle squeeze of that back leg glute. I'm pressing the top of the foot into the floor for a little extra stretch, and the joy is I'm getting a little stretch in my left leg too, because it feels a little tight. We're gonna press our glutes back towards your heels, keep that front leg forward and come into a hamstring stretch. And if your hamstrings are really tight, maybe you have to lift yourself up here. And if you're feeling a little bit more loose, flexing your toes towards your face And the closer you bring your nose and your knee together, the more you're gonna feel that deep stretch. But maybe you use a little bit of the block. You can sit as far down as feels good. Awesome, we're gonna walk ourselves all the way forward, and from here at the top, bringing your hands to the inside of your foot, wiggle that foot towards the edge of the mat and just allow that knee to fall out towards the side. Not really falling, that's a bad choice of word. It is an intentional stretch. It's gonna give you a nice stretch on that inner thigh. And you can come, I'm a little close to the record case, but you can come as close down towards the floor as possible. I'll show you that a little bit better on the other side. Great. Press that knee back in, walk yourself back towards the tabletop, bring in those two knees into one line. Give yourself a cat. Oh, give yourself a cow. Let's get those same stretches on the opposite side. I'll move back a little bit. Great idea. All right, so first we're just coming into that close hip opener. I showed you last time what it looked like if you were upright, but you can do the same thing with your hands down on the floor, and maybe that feels a little bit more intense. While here, you can even press the inner edge of your shin and your knee into your right arm down on the floor. That's keeping the stretch a lot more towards the front leg. If you're looking to get that hip opener on the back leg, that's when lifting yourself up, pressing that back knee down into the floor. So if you want to, you can even add that extra stretch of keeping your hands on the floor, of making that happen for that front leg. You can get the other side later, just to be even Stevens. But it's really the press down of the knee, gentle pressure of the toes to the floor, little squeeze the glutes. All right, let's walk or wiggle right foot forward, coming into that hip opener. Again, and remember, both sides of the body are not the same. So do what feels right for this side of the body. I'm definitely feeling a little bit more tense. So I'm not even gonna try to put my hands down on the floor for this hip opener just yet, but I am still gonna do my best to keep hips square towards the mat. So not opening towards the side. And then let's press back into that hamstring stretch. So glutes start to come towards the heel. Remember, you can keep your toe down on the floor, or flexing your toe towards your face makes it more intense. The more that you do round forward in this one, so you can find some rounding if that feels okay. And get your nose and your knee close to each other, the more you're gonna feel it in that hamstring. And I find this is a good time to get your hands to the floor too if they haven't been yet, and that way you can walk forward and it feels a little bit easier to get your hands towards that inner sole of the foot for this next knee going out hip opener. So walk your foot to the outer edge of the mat and check in with that upper back. I know I tend to come into this one with a lot of rounding, so maybe even a block on the floor to find that length through your spine and shoulders away from ears. And just check in with your form as you breathe. So as you inhale, it's always a great opportunity to think about, do I have as much length as I possibly can? And exhale, creating a little extra stretch into that space. Okay, well, let's go ahead, press ourselves up, hands back down towards the floor if they were not. Bring those two knees together. Once more, we get to go for our little cat, a little cow. Let's take one more of each of those. All right, and then shift your glutes down onto the floor. For our next stretch, we got a little 90-90 degree. So as soon as you shift your glutes, separate those legs. You can have one sole of the foot on the other thigh. You can create what stretch feels good for this back leg. Having this back foot out and open while trying to get the glute down towards the floor is an intense stretch along the outside of the glutes and thigh, hip, and also a big stretch into your ankle. If you're not ready for that, you can make this a little bit more of a quad stretch by bringing that back foot close closer towards your glute. Whatever you did, you're still working to bring some weight into this left leg glute on the floor. Maybe you even find an extra lift of your chest, and you can open that chest and squeeze shoulder blades together. Check in with your rib cage. I know once I start to come into that and you're lifting, things start to open, but we want to pull that belly button back towards the spine and keep the center line nice and tight. All right, from here, we're gonna go for a half hero pose. So the front leg, the right leg, I'm just gonna extend that leg forward. And you can keep your knees separated, which might help to keep your glutes on the floor, or you can start to walk that leg in. So if you did have that 90-90 stretch with the big toe part of the foot on the floor for this half hero pose, you definitely want to bring it in closer, almost like you're creating a bowl with your single foot to hug your glute. And if you need a little extra, you can hinge forward. Still working to press that bent legs glute towards the floor. I know, it's a little challenging. You're just doing your best. You're getting a big stretch in that ankle as well. Let's take one more big inhale and exhale. Oh, this is such a nice stretch in the low back too. And then we're gonna come into a little half hero pose. So we're gonna bring some circulation back to this leg that had been behind us, and you have two choices for your half hero pose. Half lotus. Either just working to bring the sole of the foot close towards your inner thigh, or if possible, bring in the sole of the foot all the way up towards your hip crease. And you can use your hand to help keep your leg there. And then a little bit of pressure, and it's gonna happen naturally. Even just resting your arm there is gonna help to relax that knee a little closer towards the floor, knit that rib cage back together, relax shoulders away from your ears. And now I'm taking a moment to check in with my extended leg, which had fallen out towards the side. So working to flex toes back towards the face, pressing through the heel, just a little bit more engagement through that opposite leg. One more big inhale, find some length, and exhale, let's uncross the legs. Ooh, both legs out in front. Go ahead, bring your hands behind you for a second even. You can squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your chest, bob your knees, windshield wipe your feet. Let's go through the same stretches for the opposite side, and I'll just do it from this direction for a slightly different angle. So this time, left leg is towards the front, right leg is towards the back. I'll show you from the back too. That you can either have both of these legs out, working to bring this glute towards the floor. It might not be there yet, so maybe you even use a strap or a t-shirt or something to provide a little bit of support. I'm like looking at a cactus part that fell off. I'll save you. Or you can bring that right foot in, and bring that stretch a lot more into the quad as opposed to the exterior and side of your hip. Still just working to get that glute down, so maybe you even have to move your amazing calf muscle out of the way to create a little bit extra space. Doing that, I feel like really made it easier to get the right glute towards the floor. All right, and then from here, we're going to extend the left leg forward. So extending that left leg forward, and if you still have your right leg out at that 90-90, now is when you bring it in. Maybe you bring those two knees in closer towards each other. And once again, maybe you need to move your calf, your amazing calf meat, towards the side. And you can hinge forward for a little bit more of a hip opener happening here, pressing the top of the foot down towards the floor, getting that big stretch into the ankle. This one is real key, especially if you've had a lot of ankle injuries, sprains, strains, and whatnot, to help bring a little bit more flexibility back into that space. And from this half hero pose, we're gonna come into a half lotus. Ooh, So feeling that tingling sensation as all the blood flow returns towards that extremity. Either bring in the right foot towards the left thigh, which should be a little easy. And if it doesn't get there yet, that's okay too. You're still creating opening in space. If you can, working to bring that right foot all the way up. So bringing those knees closer together to make it happen. And remember, you can use your left hand to help work to bring that right sole of the foot closer towards your hip crease. You can hinge forward for a little extra stretch. Straighten that leg out and flex your toes back towards your face. That keeps your calf muscle touching down on the floor as well. Take 2 more breaths here. Great, you can lift yourself up, extend both legs out one more time. Take a moment, bob your knees, windshield wipe your legs, maybe shake the shoulders out. And then last stretch we've got for the day, go ahead and bring the soles of the feet together and start to press those knees down towards the floor. And if they don't go, you can always use a block here to place underneath of one or both legs. Or if you're looking for a little bit more of a stretch, you can make a nice bowl with your hands and even pull your toes towards your face. And that's a great way to help you to get those knees towards the floor. Do whatever feels right with that upper body. If your back's really hurting, use this opportunity to find some length. Maybe you don't take as much of a hold of your feet. And if your back's feeling good, after you found that length, to hinge forward while still focusing on the hips. Let the hip opening be number one. Maybe you can round down and even place your head in this bowl created with your feet. Or maybe you're just touching your toes to the top of your head. But take the opportunity to create some space in your back. I'm sorry, you can't do lotus pose, Uncle Buck. You know, there's no can'ts. There's just haven't tried that enough yet. It's practice, not perfect. All right, let's carefully lift ourselves up. Walk your hands in. Extend your legs out. Take a moment and be so proud, because that's it, everybody. You're welcome to get any extra stretches that feel good for you. But today we got in a nice little warm up, a quick ab circuit, some good planks and whatnot through 3-legged dog, and then we stretched it out at the end. I hope you feel good. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Next week, we're gonna go through an upper body focused, same sort of thing. Have a wonderful rest of your day, everybody.